Today we'll be talking a little bit about a very underappreciated character within this game, but also one of the first trophy characters that newer players can gain access to. And that, of course, is the new Xavier School variant of Cyclops. Now, this character, he's been around for a very, very long time within the scope of this game, and hasn't seen a whole lot of reform or revamp to him. The most notable thing that he's received at all in recent times is he has been given the classification of immunity to the back blow from Havoc's abilities, since they're siblings and kind of don't get affected by each other canonically. So that's really the only large change that we've seen happen to this character. And I personally would love to see a drastic overhaul to at least this version of Cyclops, because there is a secondary version that I do feel is better, even though they function about the same. But let's get into his current abilities and how that works before kind of addressing why the other variant is a little bit better. And of course, we will focus more on the other version of Cyclops in a while, whenever we do get to that point of our analysis. So, Cyclops, he can get critical hits through the opponent's block, but it doesn't really do anything apart from allowing you to marginally increase your damage output. It's not going to break the bank or the game, for that matter, if you are incapable of getting the hits through the block. There are other characters that we've seen that do benefit from getting critical hits through the opponent's block. However, this isn't something that Cyclops really has any reward for. With his special attack 1, he has a 50% chance to inflict an armor break debuff with the 3 different hits on it. It's a decently easy ability to evade and avoid. And there is a decently significant armor reduction for a 5-second period, and upon triggering that armor break, it should, provided that the character is not immune to armor breaks off of non-class-based weaknesses such as Colossus, it will remove that armor buff and apply the armor break debuff there. The special 2 attack, it starts off with a couple of melee attacks, but again has a 3-hit burst off of the optical beam, and has a slightly higher chance to inflict that armor debuff off of the optical blast that comes through, at a 55% chance to inflict the armor break, and having a slightly greater reduction in the armor reduction with that armor break for that 5-second period. And the special 3, it's a decently striking animation. Honestly, I feel like having this exact same animation on both versions of Cyclops is a little bit underwhelming, but it is true and faithful to the character's core design, with the 25 hits that it gets out of that, and just an overwhelming optical blast that just rips through the opponent there. And this has a 100% chance to inflict an armor break debuff. This has the greatest armor rating reduction of all of the abilities that Cyclops possesses, and does have a slightly longer duration at 7.5 seconds instead of 5-second duration on that armor break. And the final notable thing about him is he does have a 75% chance to gain a precision charge after detonating one of his special attacks, and that will boost the ability for you to land a critical hit for a 6-second time frame. Now, the real difference between these two characters of the other version of Cyclops and this new school variant is in their signature ability, which, I mean, the only way to unlock the signature ability on the 4-star version is you'll have to claim this champion first from clearing the Realm of Legends, which is a in-game fight with characters that have decently high amount of HP that you have to just slog through, and then have someone who can nullify or reverse healing for the Wolverine that's on that path. And then to awaken this character, you do have to progress through the Labyrinth of Legends and hope that that end chest that you get right before competing against the final Maestro, you'll have to hope that you get this character unlocked from there, and you'll gain an additional 5 signature ability levels onto the character. But this one really doesn't benefit as much as the other Cyclops, as this one claims to have increased critical damage rating and damage attacks not being reduced through a block once the character has a combo of 15 hits or more. However, from the testing that I've done, it doesn't really seem to be truthful to that. I mean, it's decent that he has the critical damage rating increase on the attacks as a base level improvement, but on the other hand, it doesn't have the benefit of breaking the block like the other version of Cyclops does with his signature ability once a certain combo level has been superseded. And that's really what brings this home, at least in my opinion, for the other version of Cyclops rather than the New School variant, is he has a little more practicality in his use. At least in their current iteration, though I think that both characters could benefit from a rework. So if I were to see a revamp to this character, what would I ideally like to have happen? There's not a whole lot of big thoughts that I have, and the trouble with Cyclops is as long as he's been around, he's a pretty basic character in terms of what he's capable of. I would like to see a rework to his special attacks to maybe increase the length of the duration on some of his optical blasts, or maybe have a pattern rather than just a 3-hit burst that comes out that is a little bit more difficult to evade, at least to make him catch some of the attackers off guard when being placed as an Alliance War Defender. That would certainly be beneficial. I also think that it would be kind of interesting to see that an extension or a refresh on the precision attacks or the precision and or cruelty buffs that he can receive if he lands an optical blast onto an opponent's block, because it's decently safe to unleash those if you detonate the attacks from far enough away. So if you really want to make it worth your time using the optical blast into an opponent's block, you've got to get some sort of better reward out of it, such as a permanent increase, or converting the passive buffs, or converting the active buffs on the character into a passive buff so they don't expire, and then provide a little bit more benefit over the long term of any given fight. I also don't think that it would be such a bad idea to, again, overwork entirely the animations for the character. I particularly hate, and I know I don't talk a lot about the basic hit combos, but I particularly hate the combo ending medium with the axe kick that takes place. It's just, it feels like a very sloppy animation, and there's not enough time to fully carry that out. So if you were to revamp the character, I think even revamping and revisiting the basic attack combo that he has would be beneficial, and in addition to new special attack animations to make him seem a little bit more flashier and relevant. But what are your thoughts on this character? I mean, I really don't have a strong preference for using either version of Cyclops, because they really only fall into the realm of they're useful when you are using arena combat and you're needing to bolster some of your numbers there. Apart from that, I really think that both characters, but especially this version, could receive an entire overhaul to the way that their character works and functions. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below, and thanks again for taking some time to watch today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe for daily variety content. So with all that being said, until next time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.